Hello, hello, hello. Hello, 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 everybody.
Let's go, let's go. Who's gonna be first in the house? First in the house. First in the house. Who's gonna be the first in the house? La 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 la. Hurry up. If you get in the chat, I'll stop singing. Hurry, hurry. Who's gonna be first in the house? First in the house. It's probably accumulating in there, and I'm just brutalizing you guys with my songs. Who's gonna be first? Oh, there we go. Places you can't go. Hello, hello. There's our Kruger. Oh, Karma Doc. Oh my gosh. Thank goodness for you.
We're glad to see you, Karma Doc.
Glad to see you, girl.
KK, places you can't go.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Mary D. Hi. I didn't want to bother you because you were... Isn't today Saturday? How are you doing? I hope you're full of sales.
Mary D is quite an artist, amazingly gifted, talented person. And so she has a thing usually on Saturdays. Stacy, great to see you.
Great
Michelle, great to see you.
Good. Yeah, I kind of had a feeling, Karma Doc. I thought you were pretty busy, but we'll figure stuff out. We'll get it figured out. Stacy, Jason, good to see you. Cindy, that's a good name. It works. It works.
Awesome, guys. So some of what we're going to talk about in this one, I've had up for days. Just there's been other things that pop up and just seemed more urgent, but this is going to be news and what's going on, consciousness ascension, and then a little bit of a deep dive into some of the history. Barbara, great to see you.
Oh, and another Cindy Murphy. Hi. How are you
we
doing?
got three Cindys
We
in the house.
got three Cindys. It's it's awesome. Life is good. Susan Donahue, always super happy to see you. Ray, Pagan Girl, greetings from Vermont. Wow.
Vermont's a beautiful place.
We have people from all over. I love that. Hi, Ray.
Uh-oh, we got 33 viewers. It's a message.
Oh. Yay, it's a message. It's a message from us to the controllers that we're going to win.
Yes, absolutely. Ultimately, good will always triumph. And then we'll go back through.
Great Day Lakshmi Mantras did it for me. That is so wonderful.
Yeah, so, again, Mary D does a lot of artwork and all. And since doing the mantras, Ganesha and Lakshmi, she's just been really successful at getting her artwork out there and people buying it.
And we have those over on HeartZone. I mean, Sanskrit mantras can be a little bit intimidating at first, but if I can do it, you guys, anybody can do it. Anybody. I promise you. I promise you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems they got us locked in on 33. But
okay,
let us take a peek at the Schumann. By the way, the Schumann's been pretty elevated for a pretty long while. You can see these whiteout periods that we have. There's something big brewing. I don't think that's an understatement. I think that's just a fact. Something big, really big, is brewing, and I think there's a lot of components to it. It's more than one thing. It's a lot of different things. So I just did a 2-day fast, and I have it in my mind I'll probably do another day or two fast towards the end of next week, just for clarity. And more people are starting to understand how you can achieve a much higher sense of clarity with regular fasting, as well as also just helping to detox the body. So, not just the clarity, it has other health benefits as well.
It does. And yeah, Cindy, that Erin, it crept up on us too. We did not see it was a 5. We're going to be talking about that. But this Schumann is no joke. Big changes, life changes. And it, the thing is it doesn't matter if it's something like HARP doing it to the ground or if Earth is doing it to the ground. We are going to change because we're made of this. We're made of vibrations. So if we're connected to the Earth, we're going to feel it, whether it's good or bad. However they're doing it, we are going to have big changes when it's like this.
Yes, absolutely. And so the Schumann Power 57, as you could see, it's been elevated for quite a long time. There's a lot of different resources for the Schumann out there too. I'm just used to going to this one. and it's comfortable for me. But you know how things get, right? But then we always got to go out of the box too. So here you go. Frequencies returned above the base values, significantly reduced the amplitude oscillations. Condition lasted till about 5. And when it began to drop again, that activity was followed by very strong first peak, which reached power 48 around 6, and then followed by others around peak power 40. Just before noon, though, there was a movement that reached a maximum power value of 57. And, you know, I think a lot of people are picking up on the changes that are coming.
This 57, what's the entire scale, though?
That would be basically something for a whole video
Oh,
to
okay,
get
sorry.
into. And we have a lot of material in here to go into that's deep, but
We'll talk
yeah,
about it another day.
yeah, suffice it to say again, it's significant. You could see that there's ebbs and flows, there's peaks and valleys. We've been in let's say a choppy ocean of consciousness right now. Choppy, I think, is a good way to put it.
I think so. Choppy. I mean, my gosh, you know, I mean, it's just think about it when you're out on that ocean and the wind's going and the things are happening. It can get crazy and you don't really know. Here's the thing. You don't really know which way you're going to get thrown. That's, you know, it's kind of like your first time on a trampoline. You're jumping up and down. You don't know which way that thing is going to bounce you. Oh my gosh. I think we're kind of all going through that right now.
So we have Corona Hole 72, that makes a 9. When we put them together, it's now beginning to directly face Earth. High-speed solar wind stream flowing from the zones expected to reach Earth by August 18th, 2 days, and into the 19th. Active geomagnetic conditions, KP Index 4, is forecast for Monday. And there will also be a chance for minor G1 geomagnetic storming as well. And of course, the energy does affect our consciousness. While I'm thinking of it, because I haven't checked in the last couple hours, let's just take a peek at the quakes. There really wasn't anything that big in the last 24 hours. The largest is a 5.6 at this point in time, which, you know, again, it's off the east coast of Australia, above New Zealand, south of Indonesia, and yeah, it feels like we're waiting for something really big. Now, we did have that 8.8, or was it really an 8? How big was it really? Again, I feel like there's messages in the numbers. That's why yesterday I was focusing on the 33. With the number of letters that went out to governors by Pam Bondi. Had to be 33. Had to be 33. I mean, are you kidding me? And we have to have an 8.8 with that Kamchatka earthquake. Those are signals. Those are messages. It's very, very symbolic.
You know, and it's how they send messages, definitely signaling. And once you learn that, you can't unlearn it, and you start seeing the master numbers all over the news, and you wonder, well, I wonder what they're really signaling on that one, and I wonder what they're really signaling on that one. It's like asking yourself a million questions after you open up that second layer past the veil. You know that your pineal gland is starting to open when you realize that the mainstream is nothing but a bunch of signals.
Yeah, it's all codes. You know, it's just like reality. And, yeah, it's pretty amazing how, you know, everything can come and be broken down into a binary code when we really get down to it. We have a 4.9 off the Azores. Otherwise, yeah, it's pretty calm at this point in time. Yesterday at this time, there was nothing in South America. Now we could see there's some activity there, letting off steam, let us hope. But Hurricane Erin is building steam. In fact, it surprised the heck. We usually watch Max Velocity, and he was just kind of like, where the heck did this come from? Mm-hmm. What's going on here? Why did it explode all the way up into Category 5 strength so quickly? You know, he does a good job, I think, of giving hints to the fact that he thinks there's unusual things in play.
I think so. I really like him. I really enjoy him. He's definitely not one that's in denial. He speaks his truth, and he keeps himself out of trouble. Like, unlike us, we kind of get in trouble here and there, even when we're not trying. But yeah, Kruger is saying it's she's feeling a little bit sassy and growl and think before I speak and continue to ground. Yes, that's all very good advice for the Schumann, very good advice for the weather. And I'm still looking at this, Erin. Boy, it crept up fast. I just didn't see it coming that way. And what else are they going to do? And I see a lot of places saying, well, no, it's impossible to steer around an earth or a hurricane. But you know what? They just don't know. This is coming from people who don't know the technology could be hundreds and hundreds, easily hundreds of years beyond, maybe thousands of years beyond where we're at. So to say that it's ridiculous that they, can steer around hurricanes, I think is just, you're not awake yet. You're just not awake yet. You're getting there because you're at least asking the question. So that's good.
Yeah, that's where we're at. Different levels of awakening. And, it takes time. It takes time to realize things. So this Hurricane Erin, located 110 miles north of Anguilla at 2 p.m. on Saturday, moving west at 26 kilometers per hour, 16 miles per hour. Now, the westward motion is very bad, and the thing that the forecasters are counting on is it turning to the northwest and then turning north and then ultimately going northeast. Let's hope that happens. But you can see Puerto Rico is already it's under the influence of the outer bands. This is going to cause, even as they say right here, it could trigger flooding and landslides for sure. It's going to really bring insane waves. Max Velocity was saying that when this thing, if it does get to be pretty close off the coast of North Carolina, as North Carolina juts out into the Atlantic, that you might see waves, swells out there of 100 feet. That's enormous. That is absolutely scary and enormous. But it is not expected to continue west. It should move northwest, north, and then start heading northeast. And it could ultimately certainly be an issue for even Canada and Bermuda, of course, too, depending on how it makes that turn. And, I just got to wonder, in this day and age of surprises, will it not turn as expected?
And Rachel, she's saying in here, any storms will be mega from now on. Yeah, I think these big storms are going to become the average, which is frightening. It's like they're going to phase out what was normal and bring things up to a new level, and reclassify them. I do think they're going to do that. And no, Susan, I didn't know Erin equals Ireland. I think that's a fun name. Yeah. It's a fun name, but it's not being nice. Erin is not being nice right now.
Yeah, for all we know, it may end up making its way all the way over there to Ireland and causing a flooding issue as just a regular storm. So we'll have to see what this is going to ultimately manifest. It's, as you see here, an incredible race from tropical storm to Cat 5. So only 4 other Cat 5 hurricanes have been recorded in the Atlantic on or before August. Yes, because we're not really in the peak of anything yet, and yet this is at peak power. They've talked about making Category 6s, Category 7s, and beyond that, having to need to expand things. But this is an unusual one right from the get-go. And again, it should not, as long as things go according to what's being forecast, it shouldn't make a significant landfall, at least to continental U.S. Let's hope that stays the case. Then we have this from Live Science. San Andreas Fault could unleash an earthquake unlike anything seen before. Now, this is after the study of the deadly Myanmar quake. At the information that they got from this, fresh insights into fault behavior came from studying Myanmar's devastating March earthquake, which killed more than 5,000 people, caused widespread destruction. Yeah, we've had so many things, you just kind of almost forget about them. There's just been so many things. don't forget about Maui, right? And then there was that big Moroccan quake. Then we had that episode, probably most people have forgotten, with the inundation of Libya, with flooding that did cause a whole bunch of lives to be lost. I mean, there's just been so many things to keep up with.
It's been way too many, you know, and I swear to me, when I see these things, the news coming through the way it does, this is purposeful in nature to desensitize people from the drama, from the trauma. And I remember seeing that and a lot on the mainstream news with war, you know, just bombs after bombs. And there's so much, you start to lose that humanity part of yourself where you care about another, very just one little tiny individual, a little tiny kitten. It's like they're trying to take that part of humanity away from us. And you know, we're not going to let it happen. You know, us and you guys on this channel, and we're going to be sending our positive energy out toward everyone and everything that could possibly ever need any kind of help. I think that's where we put our energy.
Oh, we have tremendous power. And, you know, Lee was saying the one forming behind it, we need to watch. As Kyle says, augmented energy. Yes, that total agreement with that. You know, so I remember last year where, I forget what the hurricane name was, but it looked like it was going to be pretty dire, and then it turned out to be not that bad. Do you remember that? And everybody was focusing on it, and I really do think intention made it less of a problem than it was. I think that's part of where we are. We are learning now that we can mitigate things. Now, we might still have a bigger quake over in the Pacific than that 8.8. Certainly, we could have a less strong quake, but more deadly, too, depending on where it manifests. But, you know, I can't put out there but hope that our consciousness can, you know, lower the damage done as the technologies may be working there behind the scenes to increase. We can use our consciousness to do the exact opposite.
Well, these are energies that we haven't been taught how to use them. We've been taught that they don't exist. We've been taught because it's out of the visible spectrum. We don't have these extra elements. You know, I was reading about the elements, and scientists are working on 119 and 120, but they can't, just because they can't classify it in certain scientific terms doesn't mean it's not there. But there's actually 144 elements, and so many of these elements came from a time back in Tartaria where it was just common knowledge to have all these. But what are those elements made up of? They're made up of our consciousness. They're made up of the light. I mean, there's some extremely intelligent people out there that know this, and they know how consciousness works, and they use it. They use it to create a good life for themselves. They use it in prayer. They use it in their spiritual practice because they know it exists. They don't have to see things in that way, which I think, you know, I wish that was more widespread. I wish they would start teaching children in kindergarten more about plasma, more about the ether, because it's definitely there.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, I've noticed in the last 2 months in particular that when I'm doing my Qigong, there's this static electric field that happens like instantaneously and automatically. And it's strong. It's really strong. It's stronger than it's ever been. It was only in times of intense concentration where I'd really feel that, the energy going from magnetic to more electric, literally. But it's the ether. The ether is changing. The guides have given us that information very clearly. So we are truly going into an age of wonder, and you know, our myths and mystical legends from the past are going to be part of our everyday life. So almost half of California's faults, including the San Andreas, which Susan Donahue crosses every day, are long overdue for earthquakes. Yeah, the San Andreas, the longest fault in California, stretches 746 miles from the state's south at the Salton Sea to its north off the coast of Mendocino. In 1906, rupture on the northern section of the fault caused a devastating 7.9 quake that killed more than 3,000 people. Earthquakes are notoriously unpredictable, but geologists long warned San Andreas Fault will produce another massive earthquake at some point. For instance, the area nearest to Los Angeles has a 60% chance of experiencing a magnitude 6.7 or greater in the next 30 years. The 870-mile-long Saganing Fault is similar to the San Andreas Fault in that they're both long, straight, strike-slip faults, which means the rocks slide horizontally with little or no vertical movement. Look at that. That's Myanmar. Holy crap. Wow. Yeah, that was something. Gosh, I can't believe that was already 5 months ago. Time flies. Geologists were expecting the Saganing Fault to slip somewhere along its extent. Specifically, they thought the rupture would take place across a 190-mile section of the fault where no large quakes have occurred since 1839. This expectation was based on the seismic gap hypothesis, which anticipates that a stuck section of the fault, where there hasn't been movement for a long time, will slip to catch up to where it was, according to the statement. However, in the case of the Saganing, the slip occurred more than 310 miles of the fault, meaning it caught up and then some. So the researchers used a special technique to correlate satellite imagery before and after the event. Those images revealed that after the quake, the eastern side of the fault moved south by 10 feet relative to the western side. The scientists say the imaging technique they used could help improve future earthquake models. So, again, with so much of California and also Cascadia primed in all the signs, we're all aware. And then the other thing, too, that has people buzzing, just one more thing, is a comet that maybe is not a comet, that maybe we need to worry about some sort of ET invasion from. This is, again, just another sign of the times where we have disclosure. From CBS News here, a comet going 130,000 miles per hour, visiting our solar system from another star, of course. This is 3I Atlas, 31 Atlas. It's only the third known interstellar object passing our way. It's going to be a little closer to Mars than to Earth, but it's coming right in between our orbits. And again, it was outgassing some water vapor, they were saying this last week. And, saying, well, it doesn't have a typical tail. In fact, again, it's showing that it's going the opposite way of what you should think as far as, it's not being blown by the sun. There's something very, very different about this. The Polish psychic Krzysztof Jakowski doesn't feel any life on it, but he does feel that governments of the earth are going to perhaps frighten people with this.
This is really interesting technology, and just because these beings, because we don't understand them, they're, basically for us, they're nameless, faceless beings. We can't really say exactly how they travel. It's just, I sense that there's so much more there than just, a thing, a water vapor, an icy rock, or whatever they say it is. I sense life on it. And who's to say how exactly they travel? We don't know exactly how they travel. We just know that this is unusual behavior, and I feel life on these things.
But then maybe life that's just a few people awake and the rest in stasis, because that's the impression that you got.
And also, we're looking at different realms too. So you have like the 3D, you have something in the 3D, but then you have other realms that maybe they're able to go in and out of them, and that's just like their single little island. But I think what does us a disservice is, we don't know, guys. We only know what science has told us, and that's it.
Please do make sure to subscribe, like, and share if you do enjoy this content. And please do subscribe to HeartZone too. We did another first video over there today. We're giving more focus over there for more how-to and hands-on type of spirituality. And so this I've been holding on to for a couple of days. And in reality, boy, we could do a lot of deep dives into what happened in the Younger Dryas impact. Man, this was many impacts. The Younger Dryas period was a period of change. And I think that change is way more dramatic than mankind could understand. And I hope someday we all get to watch the ultra-terrestrials play it up on the sky for us to see what really happened. That would be just wonderful. Or to take over all of our media and show us the real history of planet Earth. Oh, would that be exciting?
Susan Donahue, she says, if the controllers want us in fear, is it benevolent? No, I don't think so. But I was really thinking about controllers and different types of beings this morning, too.
Well, you feel that ship doesn't feel malevolent. Like Apophis, the entities on Apophis that's coming in 2029, they feel pretty cold-blooded reptilian. Yeah. This one may have reptilian hybrids on it, but the energy doesn't feel malevolent.
Right. We just don't know exactly what is going on. It's just vibrations that I get. But I was also thinking about the other external beings that are all around us, like our star family and those other beings that are here on Earth and are hundreds of years old. They have a sense of control. And to me, I was just thinking about them. No, I don't believe that they should have us or want us in fear in any way, shape, or form. I'm just trying to put together the layers of control that we do have, and where exactly does that go, and what perspective do they look at us from?
And, again, this is talking about an impact that occurred. I think it was on this one. There you go. Just to the east of Perkins, Louisiana. And, I am holding out hope that Cindy and I will do an on-site at some point in time. I'm anticipating us maybe sometime later in the fall or so, going down and doing a hands-on and feeling the energies down there, as it's just a really good day trip away. So it'd be fun to explore, and then maybe go see the Gulf while we're at it. When you look at this, now this was the point of an explosion. Ooh. When you look at it, man, it reminds me of, again, what we see written in the Mahabharata with the war that occurred, and the weapon that burns like 10,000 suns. Cindy does feel that this was some sort of rock, some sort of substance like that. It wasn't this particular case, because not every case is the same. There are some things that she sees that really is like directed energy weapons, literally from ships that were up in the orbit of Earth. This was actually something that it feels was steered. And, again, just ask yourself, would it be preposterous to believe that very advanced extraterrestrials could steer asteroids into being used as projectiles of very low cost, well, no cost, really, again, just steering them into impacts.
Right. I mean, would the controllers ever do anything like that so they could control something else?
As we have 111 watching now, interesting number. So here you go. This study entitled Evidence of a 12,800-Year-Old Shallow Airburst Depression. In case you don't know, like, this is some of the language they'll use in UKE warfare. There's different ways of delivering these type of, in the case of warfare, we're talking bombs. This may not have been a bomb, but it definitely exploded like a bomb. And this is in Louisiana, southern part of Louisiana, closer towards the Texas border. Large deposits of shocked quartz and melted materials. And this is a tour de force by 25 authors, including well-known names in the field. And it goes ahead and lists a lot of them. This was groundbreaking research at Cosmic Summit 2025. The paper reports discovery of an anomalous 300-meter-long depression east of Perkins, Louisiana, filled with high concentrations of impact proxies, shocked quartz, melt glass, microspherules, carbon spherules, and metallic flakes. Most notably, the authors argue the site represents a shallow touchdown airburst crater, potentially North America's first documented Younger Dryas age impact feature. So, shocked quartz is glass-filled, planar fractures and deformation features. Classic cosmic impact indicators. Hundreds of billions of microspherules found in situ within sediments dating to about 12,800 years before present. Over a ton of melted glass formed at temperatures exceeding 2,200 degrees Celsius. Melted zircon, kaolinite, and quartz. Carbon-rich spherules enriched in iridium, platinum, osmium, and elements associated with cosmic bodies. So again, not non-Earth based. Oxygen-depleted metallic flakes, rare forms of native iron and woostite, common in extraterrestrial materials. So a smoking gun in the bayou. Yeah, absolutely. This is really, really curious. Again, it was thought to be once thought to be a natural lake. It's in fact a small crater, and whatever it was exploded just off the surface of the ground, and it left its residue there. Wow. I mean, this is just wild to see. Again, the Carolina Bays were from the Younger Dryas period too. And those Carolina Bays, there's tons of them all over, again, the Carolinas, but also all the way over in Wisconsin and even over towards Nebraska. And, again, what really was all this? Was it? Well, we'll tell you what it's not. It's not industrial slag or fly ash. There's no historical manufacturing in this region, and there's no volcanic or tectonic activity. So, was this some sort of extraterrestrial activity? Was it just a random asteroid came in and boom? But this is the first physical crater associated with the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis. Controversial, so that shows that it might have some worth in it. Theory proposing that a fragmented comet struck Earth 12,800 years ago, triggering abrupt cooling, extinction of megafauna, and collapse of early human cultures. Up until now, researchers have identified impact proxies at about 50 sites across 4 continents. This was big. This was absolutely big. But, with this discovery down there in the bayous of Louisiana, it's kind of a game changer. It's fascinating, absolutely fascinating to look at this. Again, you can see it's very close to the Texas border. Oh, wow. There's so much evidence out there that when we look at it alone, without referencing other bits of information, we might not see that. I think the point that I want to get across is that, it seems like we live on a relatively quiet, stable environment. But the reality is there have been mega extinctions here many, many times.
Cycles and cycles and civilizations rising up and coming down, rising up and coming down. And I don't know, I believe strongly there's beings out there that have seen our civilizations rise up and come down, and they kind of know what we're going to do. And I think we're here to rise up until we're finally able to meet with the other beings out there.
Do you remember, because I ask you so many questions every day and I get you looking and scanning this and scanning that, can you remote view this, can you remote view that? I asked you about this, and were there any beings down there that were here at that time but no longer with us anymore? Do you remember what you picked up?
What I picked up was a little bit sad, though, because there were beings there, and they were living a very happy lifestyle, and they were very content, and they loved their new world. So I pick up they're somewhere human-ish. They're humanoid, very cute little creatures. Oh, Susan Donahue, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Every little bit helps, you guys. That goes to help feed the security team around here. Thank you.
So in case you were missing that, Cindy did pick up that there was small humanoid beings that were living I get in that area peacefully. They were not in many other areas. They were not like all around the earth. They seem to be isolated to that area. I think what we're coming to the understanding of is Earth is much more a place of many, many different experiments. And some of these experiments run maybe contradictory or against the grain of what some other beings want to run for experiments. We've talked about Earth being a refugee planet, because it is. It is a refugee planet, very much so. So, I think, again, with that vision of Statue of Liberty, give me you're tired, you're hungry, you're downtrodden. That's really more in reference to the entire planet, because this really is a place of refuge for many different beings that have been looking for refuge from the intergalactic war that's been going on, also of interdimensional proportion. So there were these beings that seemed to be very happy, very content, very in tune with nature. And they were living in that area, and then it seems that this, ended their time on Earth in this density.
Yeah, it felt very dramatic and felt very not good. So, it was just the glimpses that I got from that I didn't really like. And I do believe that, these things happen on other planets too. Creatures are wiped out, and so to make room for other beings to go in, and I don't think it's fair at all, but it happens.
It does happen. And again, when they leave the 3D, like physical 3D bodies, some beings, you could stay here, but you're staying here in what we would consider more of an energy body. So you're staying in the fourth density.
Right.
Do you see the beings, are they still here in like fourth density, or are they gone?
I'm happy to say that I can see them again. So my guess would be that they simply went up.
They just went up in density.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does happen. That's happened to many apparent extinction events of different tribes of people, different creatures, where there's like a lack of evidence and even confusion. Like, where did this tribe go? They just seem to have left. We don't see evidence of war. We do see that in the New Mexico area, for instance. Well, beings can choose to ascend to a different frequency to live in peace if, they're being targeted by other beings.
Yeah, if and sometimes beings choose. Sometimes higher self can't tell you what's going on all the time, because you might not agree to it. Once you're in that 3D body, you might say, "Hey, wait. I don't remember agreeing to this." But sometimes, for the bigger picture, you can't see what's happening, which I don't think is fair either. But it's what I see.
Then we see this. Chance, genetic changes 1 million years ago. Again, I don't believe the times that they give us. To the science, 1 million years might be really 5,000-10,000 years ago. What, again, the hiding of the true history that they're always doing. Could have kicked off human brain evolution. It's all to do with shuffling DNA sequence. Well, we know, again, when you look at human DNA, much of it has been turned off to the point where they called it junk DNA. They no longer necessarily call it junk DNA anymore, which, again, the sun is triggering our DNA, that much of it that has been turned off, back on. And that's the big fight that the control system is doing. In my opinion, that's a big part of them wanting you to lather on sunscreen, to be fearful of the sun, stay out of the sun, wear your shades again, and also the geoengineering. I do think that has a big part of it. They want to slow down the genes that have been turned off by interference and intervention. They want to slow that down as much as possible, because then we awaken, we quickly see, in the case of some people, other people not so quickly, what's been going on. So, when you look at this, they have to give us little bits and pieces and acknowledge that there's changes, variations and changes that have gone on. In fact, the more you look into this, you get that whole intervention hypothesis. So, people have said, no, there's creation, there's no evolution. No, there's evolution, there's no creation. In our view, there's both. And yes, there absolutely has been intervention as well. And human ancestors may have almost died out after an ancient population crash. What was that? Another, great reset of sorts that happens when we get to the Kali Yugas? Humans may have been driven to the brink of extinction within the past million years, they're going to give us again. While the claims of population bottleneck could explain long-standing mysteries in understanding our evolution, questions remain over this paper's conclusion. Almost 99% of all human ancestors may have been wiped out about 930,000 years ago, the newspaper claimed. And this was from the journal Science, using DNA from living people to suggest that humans went through a bottleneck, an event where the population shrunk drastically. The paper estimates that as few as 1,300 humans were left for a period of around 120,000 years. That's a lot to grasp there. Only 1,300 humans on the planet for a period of about 120,000 years? What's going on? Oh, they blame it on the climate again. Africa's climate getting much colder and drier. Okay, well, the thing they never take into effect is ultra-terrestrials. Could this not be something to do with warfare? Could this not be something to do with competing groups trying to wipe out population experiments and, again, refugees from certain places? Just, again, look to what's happening today.
It's very interesting what's happening today, and the news and the information that's coming in is coming in so fast, and I think it's meant to sometimes give us so much information it just completely saturates us, and then what is the truth?
Can you imagine what the type of destruction that must have happened during the biblical flood? Again, when we look to the Younger Dryas extinction event, it wiped out the majority of life. That's huge. And then imagining that there's only 1,300 humans left on the planet. Well, part of the other part that they'll never tell you, not only do we have seed banks, right? We have seed banks. We know there's a seed vault, right? Isn't that somewhere up in the Arctic? I forget where it is, Norway or something. Yeah. So in case of emergency, you could open the vault and you could reseed the planet. The planet has been reseeded many times.
Many times. And, it's hard to say. I really think that we're just going to get to the point where we're all of a sudden, poof, we understand our star family, where they're at. We're going to be like a Tartaria again. And I think it's just going to be that cycle that, back to the golden age. And we're all going to look back and realize, wow, we really didn't have anything to worry about. But boy, it's a crazy ride.
Then you have this. 790,000 years ago, something edited the human genome. Okay. And again, the intervention, all the evidence is pointing to outside intervention. They just don't want you to know this. They can't say this for a fact. Kelly Norman, how are you? Thank you so much for your support, Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kelly.
Absolutely. And again, anybody that's looking for spiritual coaching, Vedic astrology charts, energy work, help with ascension, please do check out our website, evolutionaryenergyarts.com, or you could email us directly at evolutionaryenergyarts@gmail.com. All the information is there on every video, and like last Friday alone, we had like 3 new people, and it's a blessing to interact with you guys that may have been watching for so long, but now wanted to make that other step and actually have a session. It's just such a blessing to interact with you guys. And honestly, I just wanted to share briefly. The more I interact with you from a much younger generation than me, the more hope I have, because, I think they want to put it out there that, whatever generation we're talking about, but the youth of today are all one way. That couldn't be any farther from the truth. You have every different level of awakened individual, and there are amazing starseed light workers out there that are ready to totally shift the paradigm and, take over the torch when we're going to be just sitting in the rockers.
Yes, and we'll be enjoying our sunsets, and we'll pass the torches, and it'll be great.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. So when we look to the DNA, we look to the fused second chromosome, it's pretty obvious that there's been manipulation going on. And then that's without even going into the stories, the mythologies. When you look to the Sumerian texts, again, it tells you that humanity was incubated. Literally, we are ultimately, these vehicles that we're in were a genetic experiment of something that was available with some ultra-terrestrial DNA added. This is just the reality. Again, the soul is different. The soul doesn't come into existence when the body does. No. In fact, your soul, your higher self, is guiding the whole process the whole time.
It's something, you look back at the blueprint, and we did some interesting channeled information back when we did Wayne's video last Thursday on bringing back that blueprint of human beings and how we have been taught certain things, and sometimes the truth may seem really, really difficult to handle because we've been lied to for so long. So I kind of have learned in my journey that when I have information in front of me or information coming through me, I always have to keep an open mind, because I might be translating that information in a way that might not be totally true just because of my teaching. So I think we all have to remain open-minded with everything.
Yes, chimpanzees are not evolving into humans in front of our eyes. There was an intervention that's there. And when we look to, again, Bigfoot, at least some of what we would call Bigfoot Sasquatch, they were the result of a genetic intervention using gorillas and mixing it with, the humanoid, what we would call Anunnaki DNA, to create something that is acclimated to this planet and should thrive on this planet. But again, they always you look at it as, well, can we utilize it as a resource? Well, can you imagine the strength of that type of being? The type of productivity it could have, but it was also way too uncontrollable.
It was. Because, they could do things like open their own portals and disappear.
Yes, and here you have a former CIA officer. Again, talking about, this is even bigger, and I think this is probably going to echo a little bit if I play it, but it's good, because what he is saying is disclosure is not just about aliens. It's about our entire reality. Because, again, it's not just extraterrestrials, it's interdimensionals. And it's even more than that. It's about understanding other aspects of our existence, just like there's nothing that's really, truly solid. And, in reality, it's our consciousness that is manifesting things the whole time. This is just so earth-shaking and paradigm-shaking. He does a good job. The links are going to be there on the video as always, saying you can't have the president come out and just tell people you're living in a holographic construct.
No, you can't. And this is exactly why I'm saying you don't want to. It's good to know your truth. It's good to take on things that you resonate with. It's good to explore things that you feel is true. But don't get so stuck on that you're willing to argue or fight or fuss with another person, because there's always a chance it might not be what you think. I mean, all we can do is our best as human beings, and for other people, we support each other. We do our best. We think certain things are true. We find out they're not. But I think it is important, no matter what you learn, is go within your own heart and weigh it in your heart and make sure if you are good with it, and then later down the road you find out new information and you realize, oh, that wasn't true. Well, you were good with it. That's okay. Realize that things shift, things change. And this could be a thing here, what he's talking about. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not so simply. It's not just that, hey, there's aliens here. By the way, your body is just a container for your soul. You got to sit people down. You got to do it in little pieces. And I think that is what's ongoing. I do think that's what's ongoing when we, again, look at things. This is from Peru again, beautiful Peru. Ooh, there's a lot there. I mean, what are we really looking at here?
Looks like a melted head.
It does look like it. Is it
like a candle wax? A candle.
I mean, when we talk about giants, again, Earth is just a piece of what was a much larger planet that was inhabited for extremely vast, long periods of time by very, very advanced civilizations. And even with that, our own Earth, our little segment of it, is just a smaller segment. There's so much beneath our feet. It's just exciting, really, when you think about it. This is Dolores Cannon. Let me give you the first few moments of this. Literally, this is what the guides told me when I was young on multiple occasions. They told me, you are choosing to be sick. You don't have to be sick.
You're not supposed to ever be sick. Never. The body is a miraculous machine that has been created to take care of itself and heal itself if we don't interfere. That you make yourself sick. And if the mind is powerful enough to make yourself sick, it's also powerful enough to heal you. First we get...
Yeah, I mean, I think that is that's staggering. But that is like the clearest message as a little kid that I ever heard from the guides. And they told me that when I was 5, and I didn't want to go back from Christmas vacation. I didn't want to go to either kindergarten or first grade. I forget which it was. I just wanted to stay and play with my toys. I didn't want to go, so I got sick. Mm-hmm. And I had that message come through again as a teenager.
And it's not always, I mean, sometimes that message makes me angry because, it's true. It's like bad things might happen to you, and it's like, why did that have to happen to me? But your subconscious, through traumas and through manifestation, can bring things about in ways that we might not anticipate.
Yeah. And again, there are other reasons why we get sick too. Literally, poison food, poison water, poison air. And of course, there's accidents. When you look at this door, look at how intricate it is. Isn't that amazing? Next thing to look at. I hope we're back quickly here, guys. Yikes. Reconnecting. Come on, reconnecting. As
soon as you bring up the giants, yeah.
You bring up the giants. Oh, you don't want to look at that. Oh no. Okay, that's what it was. Beware of VPNs, guys. Beware of VPNs. Beware of giants. Look at the size of that door. I gotta look up more of this door. This door is maybe a whole video in and of itself.
Little, so they must have rebuilt the stairs.
Yeah, this is insane.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
This is wild. I mean, but that's our history. We were really in the presence of all sorts of different beings. Sometimes we don't really look at that which is right in front of us. Do you ever see an owl's ear?
That is like so cool.
And we see extraterrestrials all the time, like octopus. They're very intelligent beings. I swear there's some insects out there that are every bit as intelligent as we are.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe more intelligent when you really get down to it.
Well, Mike had a really cute dragonfly kind of hopping along, following him the other day in the yard. It was cute.
Yeah, that's really wild. I mean, it's just crazy out there. Now, a mom will protect her kids. That's just given. Look at that. She just flipped him over. Said, get away from the kids. And the look on his face. It reminds me of a look Rama gets every now and then.
Yeah, I know. Poor Rama. He gets beat up by these girls here.
Oh, he takes it very well. But yeah, here's a lioness protecting the newborns. Says, no, you're leaving the kids alone.
They're not ready to play yet.
That's your mother. Mother Earth she wants to protect us. She wants to take care of us and nurture us and love on us, just like these two buddies.
Oh, look at these two. These two are healing each other. Isn't that how we're supposed to do it?
Yes, dolphins and whales, very, very important beings, very high intelligence, holding very high frequencies. Are you going to give us a ding, my dear?
We're going to do a ding, you guys. You know the rules. Think a happy thought. It's manifestation time. Let's work and make sure that hurricane is not going to hurt anyone.
Let's have it stay out at sea. And if there is any big quakes, may the energy dissipate in such a way, in such a location, that lives are not harmed.
Okay, here we go. Thanks for all your help and support, you guys. Source bless and namaste.
Much love. Namaste.